My name's Howard Bartlett. I'm a self-funded retiree and we moved, my business partner and I, from Melbourne to Benalla with a view to freeing up some cash to do some other things separately. National Seniors Australia has done a great job identifying a mismatch between the supply and the demand for housing for people that are moving or planning to move. If you look at the graph, there's a huge decline in the number of households that have got two parents and a child compared to a great increase in the number of single person and two person households. The building and land development industry has not yet coordinated to the degree required to meet this demand. Oh, you're looking for the house to rent?
Tour was responsible for murdering 3 Australians.
This is the kitchen and the tenant gets to use the kitchen. And here's the Sleepout and you might want to have a look inside. Joe Self says, a problem must be properly identified before it can be addressed. The process we use helps to uncover problems and identify opportunities. We design beyond what our client expects. We design what they never dreamed they could have. This story started in 1901 when the solid brick house was converted into a solid brick pair. The idea at the time was to cater for a working individual or maybe a couple, and we're just that working individual or a couple. Bernie and I came along sometime later, 2012, and decided to buy it. We looked all over the place for a small house on a small block, but anyway, it wasn't to be. We had to learn to be land developers because we had 800 square metres of land and 2 dwellings. The first stage was to talk to the planner about how to subdivide. We needed to have 1 house each, not 2 houses on 1 block. So the first step was to lodge a planning application to subdivide and appoint a surveyor. Shortly after, 2 months later, we had a permit and we had the surveyor lodge the plan at the titles office, and titles were issued very quickly. There were very little civil works to be done. In fact, it was just perfect. The only problem was Unit 1 was a wreck. It needed a lot of work. Unit 2 was lovely. It was livable, so we rented it out to help pay the bank. The next step was to decide what to do next, because we didn't want to be living together. We weren't a couple. We had to stage the project over a number of years. The next step was to fence the backyard of the house, Unit 2, which Bernie wanted to own, so that the tenant had no right to use that bit of land, and we erected an artist studio on that block, on that spare piece of land with access across lot 1. So there you can see, the studio is finished and being used while the house is being rented. The next step was to build a Sleepout for me. The Sleepout is a similar building but smaller and located behind Howard's side of the block. The next step after that was to renovate Howard's old house. It was a wreck. Anyway, 10 years later, I've finally got to the stage where the kitchen's finished and operating, and we both have houses to live in. Bernie moved into hers after the tenant moved out, and we're both very happy. Lubosh, Howard and Andrew incorporated soap house design. The objective of SOAP house design is to explain 4 golden rules. The things you need to know before you talk to a builder, before you talk to an architect, before you talk to a surveyor. SOAP house design encourages to think about sun. In the winter, as you can see here, the roof casts a shadow high on the wall, enabling the sun to penetrate into the building. In the summer, the sun is at a steep angle, casting a shadow on your deck. Open space. We encourage the building to be as close as possible to the south side of the block, so all the usable space is on the sunny side or the shady side, depending on what time of year it is. Access, as long as you can get your vehicle off the road, the best way to do it is to have the access to your house on the north side of the block. Privacy, locating the house as close as possible to the south side of your block with all the windows facing north ensures that everybody has a private and usable open space. We'd like to share this experience with a whole lot of other people who want to do something similar. The main problem is in planning that a small house on a small block is usually developed by a builder, and you have to have his plan or nothing, and you have to pay his price or nothing. If you're not interested, don't buy it. Okay, learn to be a little developer and learn to do it for yourself. That's what this video is all about.